Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles, one of the first open-world attempts in a Naruto game and a pretty attractive proposal. After several months, finally here we have the review of Uzumaki Chronicles.
Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles!
When people asked me about this game, I knew it was for some specific reasons, nostalgia factor, or because it was the first time that they could give a free roam gameplay feeling with a character like Naruto. And although that approach shines with the first minutes of gameplay and even serves to attract players less interested in the franchise, the gameplay has a high risk factor. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see what Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles has to offer. Arriving in the last year of the PS2's useful life, this game comes to us at first sight with its graphics section. It wasn't its greatest strength, but it's true that it was complicated to get to see Naruto games with this technical level in textures and 3D character modeling. They were used to a much less ambitious cel shading. Uzumaki Chronicles, with this initiative, a little more realistic and trying not to be so colorful, performed well in the art and scenography that wanted to handle. In addition, it's one of the first times I saw an intro for the game made from scratch with the game engine, instead of a series of clips taken from the anime as happened a lot with the Clash of Ninja game saga. So far, so good. The story in this game is not related at all to Kishimoto's story. They took the Naruto universe and practically generated missions all detached from each other and with their own background. I'm not going to lie, they are not the worst filler stories I've ever played in Naruto games. They have a youthful air, a marked identity, and I like that.
Can I help you?
The use of characters apart from Naruto and other parts of the lore do feel quite absent. There are almost no references to what's really happening with the protagonist. They're only there to help Naruto achieve his goals. Within all this, how does the Uzumaki Chronicles level design work? Unlike what I first believed, this doesn't work like an open world system in the sense of the word. Here you have to go to the Hokage's office, choose from the missions available for the genin and complete assignments. These are the missions that complete the progress of the story and vary between carrying products from point A to point B or helping a girl promote her own store. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one either. They present you with a map in which you can navigate to complete the missions, but this is repeated over and over. There are no different areas. The really tedious thing about this mission system is that not only you have to deal with the confrontations set for the assignments, but also along the way you will always be intercepted by more bandits and you must defeat them and move on. However, the combat system is quite good for the proposal they had. With a third-person perspective and with small nuances of Musou and hack and slash genres, the gameplay is entertaining. The combo system gives enough freedom to let you experiment on the battlefield. You face several enemies at the same time and you can defend yourself with short range but fast combos with the square and wide range combos with the triangle. This can be mixed to make different combos. You can hit in the air after a jump too. There are special skills that consume chakra like the Shadow Clone Jutsu and the Rasengan. Both can be charged at will. In addition to the substitution jutsu, which serves as an escape alternative, because of course I forgot to mention that in this game there's no cover button. While your rivals can block attacks, you cannot. Lastly, there's the RM Jutsu with a disorientation property and the awakening. You can activate it when you have a certain amount of health and with the special bar fully unlocked. So Naruto will activate the Kyuubi chakra and will have a boost in all his characteristics, especially on his chakra because he will have no limit of use in this state. I'm surprised how they added the participation of more characters, which serve as supports on a temporary way and we can use their unique techniques and get out of certain tough situations. The diversity was little by little supplied with that section. It's always a pleasure to see how characters different from Naruto perform in new worlds. The use of support characters is necessary to access crucial points of the mission, so that's why it's important to vary. If you're tired of games being too expensive, at Instant Gaming you can buy all the games you want at an incredible price. You even have the option to get pre-orders and gift cards with a big discount. I've been using it for several years now, and here are my latest purchases to show you guys that is completely legit. Cheap, fast and safe. You can check it out in the link I leave you in the description down below. That would be a huge support for the channel. Let's get back to the video. Basically, that's the entire concept of the game: entertaining, giving possibilities to improve attributes and use various objects. In addition, it correctly uses a few parts of the story to explore new ideas like collecting objects in a certain time limit while the bandits stalk you, fighting along and so on. But unfortunately, it suffers a lot from its level design. The repetitiveness is evident. As the time goes by, the missions feel exactly the same and there's no element that makes them unique. You accept the mission, go from point A to point B, meet enemies along the way, defeat them, talk to the people involved and receive your reward. There's a predetermined cycle that every game with a repetitive formula must follow so that the experience doesn't become a constant copy-paste. That wasn't executed well at all in this case. No matter how entertaining the gameplay is, it's difficult to keep the player encouraged when every encounter has nothing new to offer. That's the real problem with Uzumaki Chronicles, because otherwise I consider it a decent game for the time it came out. The difficulty is high, I'm not going to lie. It was impossible for the game to have the input rush feature where every command you give to the controller is registered in the game. Here, it's not like that. What happens is that each button has a range in which it can be pressed, and after a time limit, generally in microseconds, the next button is registered. In these levels, the game often requires you to react to many elements at the same time. Too many for this control scheme to handle. That's why it becomes frustrating, because it's not your fault that you can't pass that final boss, it's the game's fault for not registering your movements properly, since they indirectly lets us heal ourselves with special objects in the middle of the fights in case our health is low. But with your permission, I'm going to consider this a necessary advantage, since this is one of those games with definitive game over. I mean, if you die, you have to restart everything from scratch. Obviously, they give you the option to save after every mission, but the only place you can do that is at the gate of the Leaf Village, the established starting point for all missions, so you will have to be saving your playthrough every time. That's not a problem, but with that in mind, you know that you can't die in the middle of a mission because you'll have to restart the entire mission from the beginning, and there are some missions that can take you up to half an hour to complete. Regarding the open world, I don't know if I would consider it as such. We already know that there should be that free roam essence, but for some reason I don't feel it at all in this game. Yes, you can move freely in certain areas with each mission, but mobility in minimal when you're not punching and kicking. There's supposed to be interaction with NPCs, exploration, even farming, but I didn't see any of that, other than in a text panel. When you are outside a render area, they just appear as text panels. There's no true feeling of exploration. I know I'm not the only one who felt that. For example, Naruto Ultimate Ninja 2 did a slightly more deep work when trying to transmit the open world experience. Many of the scenarios in the game were repeated and almost everything worked with a very similar mission system. Yes, but it managed to condensate all the elements of interaction, farming and points of interest in one place and without the need to opening a menu. By the way, the camera movement is always inverted and there's no way to change that in the options menu, for example. So it also plays against the spirit of exploration in quotes, since it's very annoying not to be able to feel in control of your perspective if you're not used to that. In the end, the result both in sales and critics was a bit mixed, as expected with these games in those years. Fans who were satisfied to fulfill their fantasy of running in an open world with Naruto, and others a bit disappointed because the entire story had nothing to do with the manga. In any way, that first step was achieved. Bandai Namco gave the developers of Cavia a new project to continue with the sequel of this game. I'm sure that you won't wanna miss it. Thank you very much guys for coming this far. If so, leave a good like to support the video so that it can reach more people. You can of course tell me in the comments your opinions about this game, and I'm always aware of the comments. Remember that you can become members of the channel and help us with some extra support. That was all for today, and I'll be watching you in the next video. Take care and see ya.